Hello and welcome to the very first Practical Tech Hacks. I'm so excited to share with you the tools, software, and settings that I have discovered, made myself, or have tweaked over the years. I have a passion for automating repetitive tasks and saving myself countless hours of work. If you've ever dealt with spreadsheets, I think you know what I'm talking about. In an upcoming video, I'll even show you a tool to pause, rewind, and play a tutorial you are following along with. There is nothing worse than falling behind and having to repeatedly rewind a video because it's moving too fast to keep up while you're typing or following along. In this video, we are going to talk about Winmerge. Winmerge, you will see the difference. This is painful, but before I was using GitHub for version control and backing up my data, I simply just copy my files into a backup. So here I have my files, which would be on my C drive, and my backup drive would have my backup files. Unfortunately, over the years, this system has caused me to lose bits of valuable code. We are going to merge my files with my files backup. As we can see, we have made changes to the original folder. We have a second image file. We have a fourth text file called stuff4. And it looks like we got rid of windowwashing.txt. Now, it wouldn't be too complicated for us to go through these 15 files and figure out the differences between them. But imagine if we had a 25, 50, 100, 200. What is the best way to go through these? After you download and install Winmerge, let's open it. We can compare new documents with one another. A, B, D. Hit the refresh, and it'll show us the differences. Alternatively, we can compare up to 3 folders. So I'm going to go to my first folder, copy the location, and paste that in. Go to my backup, copy and paste that location in. And then this will be enabled for us to compare. Our image file, the binaries are identical, which means there are no changes. So we can go ahead and delete that. Let me shrink this window a little bit so we can see better. Let's refresh that. Spreadsheet 1. Both binaries are identical, which means there are no changes. Let's delete that one. Stuff.txt and stuff3.txt are the same. And it says text files are identical, not binaries. It's comparing the text within the files. Now you might have noticed that these have moved to left only. They only exist in the folder to the left. If we see right only, it only exists in the folder on the right, which means it has been deleted since making this backup. That's where the power of this tool comes in. Is windowwashing.txt something that we want to keep, or might have deleted by accident? Let's say this is something we wanted to keep. We'll move that over. And now, let's see, spreadsheet 2, let's refresh this again. Now we have 2 files left to compare. Looks like spreadsheet 2 is different, and it says binary files are different, so we'd have to go in and see if we can find differences. There are tools that may be able to help us find differences in spreadsheets if there's a lot of data, but from just simply opening them up and checking, we see that only the age has been updated. If this were a real file, I probably would use date of birth instead of manually changing this every year. But let's go to our next file. Let's delete. Actually, I'll drag this over. Replace the file in the destination. Double check that, make sure it's the updated birth dates. Yep, 31 and 26. Refresh this again. And it looks like our stuff2.txt text files are different. Now let's see what makes them different. Now you might have seen the difference, but it may not be exactly clear. From here we have two options. We can simply click on the file name, and Winmerge will show us the contents of the files, and it'll show us the difference. Even then, we have a really long line to compare. So, in this case, what I would do is open textcompare.com, copy the contents of that first text file and the contents of the backup, hit compare and see what the difference is. Of course, I am a robot. And here, instead of highlighting just the whole line, it highlights the differences. Looks like it's an I, and over here is an E. So if this were English and not Latin, I would know which typo is. Let's go with the second one being the typo, right? Since that's been the updated one. So let's go ahead and delete that. We'll close these first. Delete that. Now, in no time flat, we are down to one folder. What are the differences between stuff 1, stuff 2, stuff 3, and stuff 4? I simply highlight the files I want to compare, right click, and go to Winmerge. Here, it looks like I've added 2 new paragraphs. So what we can simply do is copy all right. And now they're the same file. Close this, save the changes. Look at that. Even creates a backup. So I will delete stuff 2 and that backup. Let's compare 3 and 4. Let's see what the differences are. It looks like they are already identical. So we can just go ahead and delete, let's say number 4. Let's see what the difference between stuff 1 and 3 are. It looks like our third paragraph is different. So this will be a good opportunity to use our diff check. I don't see any differences other than these paragraphs being added. Well then, we'll push that all right. Files are now identical. Let's discard those changes. Let's just say I want to keep stuff 3. And then let's compare our 2 images. Files are identical. Perfect. Look at that. And the only differences between these were the ages. So I guess delete those. So now from 15 files, I am left with 4. Back this up to GitHub. So now if we backed up all of our files and back up any changes that we make to it in the future, we will have a log of every change and every version, both on our computer and backed up in the cloud. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful.